Let's go straight to it. When most people hear the word stupid, they think of low intelligence, low IQ, bad grades, awkward speech, not sounding sophisticated. But honestly, that's not usually the kind of stupidity that ruins lives. The more dangerous kind is harder to spot, because some men can sound smart, dress sharp, talk confidently, quote philosophy, post deep captions, and still be unbelievably stupid where it actually matters. A stupid man is often not the man who knows the least. He's often the man who cannot see himself clearly enough to stop destroying his own life. That's the twist. Because the most expensive stupidity is not intellectual, it's psychological. It's the kind that keeps a man repeating the same mistakes, hurting the same people, ruining the same opportunities, and still somehow believing he's the victim, the genius, or the misunderstood one. You know the type. He can explain everything except himself. He can criticize everyone, except the part of him causing the chaos. And let me ask you something early, because I know this topic is going to bring up a few very specific faces. When you think of a truly stupid man, what showed it first? His ego, his lack of self-awareness, his treatment of people, or his habit of making the same bad choices over and over again? That question usually brings somebody to mind immediately. A boss, an ex, a brother, a father, a friend. That one guy who thought he was 10 steps ahead while walking straight into a wall with confidence. And that's what we're talking about here. Not in a cheap, insulting way, and not in a shallow, men are dumb kind of way. This is deeper than that. Because Carl Jung understood something very important. A human being can be intellectually capable and still be psychologically unconscious. And unconsciousness, when mixed with ego, creates a very specific kind of stupidity, the kind that doesn't just embarrass a man, it traps him. So in this video, I want to break down 7 signs of a stupid man, not as a lecture, but like a real conversation. Because the goal isn't just to judge people, it's to understand the patterns that make a man blind to himself, and dangerous to everyone around him, including his own future. And yes, some of these signs are going to feel uncomfortably familiar. Maybe in other people, maybe, if we're honest, in parts of ourselves too. That's where the Jung twist really matters. Because this video is not just about spotting stupidity out there, it's about understanding how unconsciousness works. So let's get into it. 1. A stupid man thinks confidence can replace truth. This is one of the first signs. He thinks if he says something loudly enough, confidently enough, or often enough, it becomes true. He confuses certainty with intelligence, tone with substance, swagger with wisdom, and you see this everywhere. A man who knows very little about a subject but speaks like he invented the topic in 2007. A guy explaining life, women, business, psychology, politics, spirituality, and protein powder with the exact same level of unearned authority. That's not intelligence, that's inflation. And Jung had a lot to say about inflation. He understood that when a man is disconnected from his real center, the ego often puffs itself up to compensate. So instead of depth, you get performance. Instead of understanding, you get dominance. Instead of insight, you get a TED talk from a man emotionally sponsored by denial. A stupid man often sounds most certain exactly where he is least developed. That's why he can be so convincing at first. Because uncertainty is quiet. Real thought pauses. Wisdom often has humility in it. But stupidity with ego, that thing arrives with a microphone. It doesn't ask. It declares. And the sad part is, a lot of people mistake that for strength. They think, wow, he really knows what he's talking about. No. Sometimes he just has no relationship with doubt. And doubt, healthy doubt, is part of intelligence. A man who cannot question himself is usually far less intelligent than he appears. Because if a man's confidence is bigger than his self-awareness, eventually life will embarrass him. And he still won't understand why. That's stupid. Not because he lacked information, because he lacked inner honesty. 2. A stupid man cannot learn because his ego is allergic to being wrong. This one is massive. A smart man can be corrected. A stupid man takes correction as humiliation. That's the difference. You can tell a lot about a man by what happens when reality doesn't flatter him. Does he get curious, reflective, willing to adjust? Or does he get defensive, sarcastic, dismissive, irritated, or weirdly aggressive? Because once a man cannot tolerate being wrong, his growth basically stops. And from that point on, life becomes repetition. Same mistakes, different outfits, same chaos, different excuse. Jung would say that real development requires confrontation with the shadow, the part of yourself that is immature, insecure, dishonest, petty, avoidant, arrogant, or blind. A smart man can bear that confrontation. A stupid man cannot. He would rather protect the image of himself than improve the reality of himself. So what does he do? He argues with feedback. He mocks wisdom. He downplays consequences. He blames context. He calls everything drama or haters or misunderstanding. He can't say, yeah, that was on me. And that's where his life starts to narrow, because every time reality offers him a lesson, he experiences it as an insult, so he rejects it, and then wonders why nothing changes. Here's the darker twist. Some men are not stuck because life is unfair. They're stuck because they would rather protect their pride than update their character. That's stupidity in its pure form, not a lack of intelligence, a refusal to evolve. And you see it especially in grown men who still react like embarrassed teenagers anytime truth enters the room. The kind of man who hears one accurate sentence about himself and responds like you attacked his bloodline. You know the type. You say, maybe you handled that badly, and he reacts like you just set fire to his motivational podcast. That's not strength. That's fragility with a baritone voice. 3. A stupid man confuses impulse with freedom. This one ruins lives quietly. A stupid man often thinks self-control is weakness and impulsiveness is authenticity. So he says whatever he feels, spends whatever he wants, sleeps with whoever is available, burns bridges whenever he's angry, chooses what feels good now and calls it being real. And for a while, that can even look bold, spontaneous, fearless, unfiltered, until the bill arrives. Because eventually, impulsive men start calling consequences bad luck. Jung would probably say that a man who is ruled by impulse is not free at all. He is possessed by appetite, by ego, by unprocessed emotion, by the parts of himself he has never learned to govern. That's not liberation. That's inner chaos wearing sunglasses. And this is one of the most common forms of masculine stupidity. A man thinks because he doesn't restrain himself, he's powerful. No. If every urge can steer you, you're not powerful. You're available. Available to anger, to lust, to ego, to addiction, to regret. A man who cannot say no to himself will eventually say yes to things that destroy him. That's not poetic, that's math. And here's your next curiosity loop. Some of the men who look most free from the outside are actually the most enslaved from the inside. Because freedom is not doing whatever you feel. Freedom is not being ruled by every feeling that passes through you. A stupid man doesn't understand that. So he keeps calling self-sabotage living. Then one day he wakes up with broken trust, wasted years, avoidable damage, and a playlist full of songs about how nobody understands him. Brother, the issue may not be mystery. The issue may be that you keep confusing appetite with authority. 4. A stupid man blames everyone but the pattern. This one is deadly because it makes change almost impossible. A stupid man can go through the same kind of breakup 6 times, have the same conflict at 3 jobs, fall out with the same kind of friend over and over again, and still somehow conclude, people are just crazy. At some point, that's not insight, that's evasion, because intelligent people eventually notice patterns. Not just in the world, in themselves. They ask, why does this keep happening? What part of me keeps walking into this? Why am I attracted to what hurts me? Why do I keep choosing the same lesson in different clothing? A stupid man doesn't ask those questions for long, or if he does, he asks them theatrically, not sincerely. Jung understood that until the unconscious becomes conscious, it directs your life, and you call it fate. That line applies perfectly here, because a stupid man lives inside patterns he refuses to examine, then names the result life. No, my friend, that's not life. That's your unexamined self running the same software again. Different woman, same wound. Different business partner, same ego game. Different city, same inner chaos. And this is the part that surprises people. A man can have endless opinions about other people and still know almost nothing about the machinery driving his own life. That's stupid. Not because he isn't analytical, because his analysis never turns inward long enough to become wisdom. He can spot flaws everywhere but the source code inside himself. So he keeps blaming the ex, the boss, the market, the culture, women, his parents, fake people, jealous people, soft people, toxic people. Now, sometimes those people really were a problem, of course. But if every room smells the same after you walk in, eventually you have to check your own shoes. A stupid man hates that sentence, because it interrupts the fantasy that he is always the misunderstood hero in a very poorly written movie. 5. A stupid man needs attention more than substance. This one is very modern. A stupid man often cares more about looking impressive than becoming solid. He wants the image before the structure, the recognition before the work, the praise before the discipline, the aesthetic before the character. He wants to seem deep, seem dangerous, seem wise, seem successful, seem emotionally unavailable but somehow spiritually elite. You know, one of those. Jung would call this over-identification with the persona. The outer image becomes more important than the inner reality. And once that happens, a man starts making life decisions for appearance instead of truth. He says things because they sound strong, not because they are true. He pursues symbols of power, not actual power. He performs mystery instead of building depth. And because he is more attached to attention than substance, he becomes incredibly easy to fool. Why? Because anyone who knows what image he's addicted to can steer him. Offer admiration, he melts. Challenge his image, he rages. Ignore him, he gets theatrical. That's why some men become walking billboards for fake strength. Everything is branding. Nothing is rooted. And yes, sometimes it looks impressive for a while, until real life tests it. Until he has to endure boredom, or build something slow, or face rejection without collapse, or stay faithful to a process nobody is clapping for. That's when the whole cardboard palace starts folding, because there was never much under it. A stupid man often spends years curating an image that quietly prevents him from becoming the real thing. That's tragic. He wants to be seen as wise, so he stops learning. Wants to be seen as strong, so he stops being honest. Wants to be seen as successful, so he avoids looking like a beginner. And because of that, he remains shallow while appearing developed. That's one of the saddest kinds of stupidity. Beautiful packaging, weak architecture. 6. A stupid man laughs at what he secretly fears. This one is more shadow-based. A lot of stupid men mock what they do not understand and degrade what they secretly feel threatened by. Depth, soft, vulnerability, cringe, therapy, for weak people, reflection, overthinking, boundaries, attitude. A woman with standards. Too much. A man with emotional maturity. Not masculine enough. Why do they do this? Because ridicule is easier than confrontation. If something in the world exposes what they have not developed in themselves, many men don't become curious. They become dismissive. That dismissal gives them temporary relief. Now they don't have to feel behind. Now they don't have to respect what threatens their worldview. Now they can laugh instead of grow. Jung would probably say that what a person mocks intensely often points towards something psychologically charged in them. The mockery is not random, it is defensive. And this is where stupidity becomes darkly funny. Because some men spend years clowning the exact qualities that would save their life if they ever developed them. Imagine mocking self-awareness while destroying every relationship you touch. Imagine laughing at therapy while being emotionally run by your 10th grade humiliation. Imagine calling everybody else dramatic while your entire personality is just unresolved shame in sneakers. That's not irony, that's unconsciousness. A stupid man often thinks contempt is evidence of superiority. It's not. A lot of the time, it's evidence that he has no mature way to relate to what threatens his self-image, so he degrades it. Not because it is small, because it feels too big for the version of him he's protecting. 7. A stupid man is disconnected from his inner life, but thinks that makes him strong. This may be the deepest sign of all. A stupid man often believes that being emotionally numb, unreflective, or disconnected from himself makes him tough. He doesn't look inward, doesn't question his motives, doesn't sit with his contradictions, doesn't examine his wounds, doesn't ask why he reacts the way he does. He just moves. And because he keeps moving, he mistakes momentum for self-knowledge. But Jung would say that a man who does not know his own inner world is not in control of it. He is being driven by it, by his shadow, by old wounds, by unconscious fears, by insecurity he calls confidence, by neediness he calls standards, by shame he calls pride. That's the trap. The man thinks, I don't overthink, I just act. Okay. But what is acting through you? That's the real question. Because if you do not know yourself, then your choices are often being made by parts of you you have never met consciously. That is not strength. That is possession. And it's one of the most expensive forms of stupidity there is, because now your whole life becomes shaped by things you refuse to understand. You keep hurting people and calling it honesty. Keep sabotaging love and calling it freedom. Keep repeating trauma and calling it preference. Keep avoiding yourself and calling it masculinity. Some men are not hard to understand because they are deep. They are hard to understand because they are disconnected from themselves. That's different. Depth has coherence. Disconnection has confusion. And a stupid man often mistakes confusion for complexity. He thinks being mysterious means being profound. No, sometimes it just means you haven't met yourself honestly enough to become simple. And simplicity, real simplicity, is a sign of integration. Jung knew that. A man who has faced himself becomes clearer, cleaner, less theatrical, less reactive, less interested in proving, more interested in truth. A stupid man moves the other way, more noise, more defense, more image, less reality. And the older he gets without changing, the more costly that becomes. So what's the real twist here? Here's the real twist. The opposite of stupidity is not just intelligence, it's consciousness. That's the Carl Jung layer under this entire topic. Because the stupid man is not only uninformed, he is unconscious. Unconscious of his motives, his patterns, his shadow, his ego, his fear, his self-deception, his dependency on image, his addiction to being right, his terror of feeling small. That's why some very educated men remain stupid, very articulate men remain stupid, very charismatic men remain stupid, because they never turn inward deeply enough to become real. And without that, intelligence becomes a tool of self-deception. He gets better at defending nonsense, better at sounding convincing, better at rationalizing his own damage. That is much more dangerous than simple ignorance, because now stupidity can wear a suit. Quote Nietzsche. Use words like alignment and still emotionally function like a frightened teenager with Wi-Fi. And yes, that's a little funny, but it's also true. So what are the signs of a stupid man? He thinks confidence can replace truth. He treats being wrong like death. He confuses impulse with freedom. He blames everyone but the pattern. He loves attention more than substance. He mocks what he secretly fears, and he is disconnected from his inner life while calling that strength. That's the deeper picture. Not a lack of information, a lack of consciousness. And once you see that, you stop getting hypnotized by noise. You stop assuming loud means wise. You stop confusing charm with character. You stop expecting self-awareness from men who are still in a full-time relationship with their own denial. And maybe, if we're honest, it also gives us a mirror. Because everybody has stupid parts. Everybody has unconscious parts. Everybody has places where ego speaks louder than truth. The difference is whether you are willing to face them. That's where intelligence really begins. Not with knowing more, with seeing more, especially in yourself. And before I leave you, let me bring the question back one more time, because I think this comment section could be brutally honest. What was the first sign that showed you a man was truly stupid? His ego, his inability to learn, his obsession with looking important, or his habit of repeating the same self-destruction and blaming the world for it? That answer usually says everything. If this spoke to you, comment. Confidence is not consciousness.